Don't ruin your life. Don't date or marry someone with a disturbing parental attachment. I used the word disturbing because I couldn't find a better one. Pathological would be the next choice, but it's a medical term, and most untrained people would rightly hesitate to render a medical diagnosis. However, most people know when something disturbs them. If your potential spouse's attachment to one or both parents seems excessive or unhealthy and disturbs you, there's a significant probability that something is wrong. Of course, a person can have an unhealthy and disturbing attachment to both parents, but to make things easier from here on, I'll usually use the singular word parent and the related singular pronouns. A possible sign of unhealthy attachment is talking on the phone with a parent every day or even every other day. Of course, if the parent is extremely old or ill or dying, mentally incapacitated, or for any other significant reason needs to be checked on frequently, this doesn't necessarily apply. But if it's a case of gossip, confiding personal matters, or constantly seeking moral support, it could mean that your potential mate hasn't outgrown his or her childhood attachment to mommy and daddy. At worst, it indicates deeper psychological problems. It's bad enough to marry someone with an unhealthy attachment to a relatively normal parent. That is, the parent recognizes that his or her offspring is abnormally needy but doesn't know what to do about it and therefore puts up with the neediness. But it's worse to marry someone with an unhealthy attachment to a problem parent, a parent who is either alcoholic, drug addicted, manipulative, sociopathic, financially irresponsible, jealous of the offspring's mate, or some combination of these issues. A problem parent wants and encourages the attachment. In cases like this, the unhealthy attached offspring will often drag the parent's problems into the marriage, even if the parent is located far away. Mentally healthy adults will minimize contact with a problem parent. They will not cling to or be influenced by a problem parent. If your potential spouse has a disturbing parental attachment, you might imagine that at some point you can simply lay down some rules about the situation. You might imagine that your influence will eventually help your spouse get his or her mind right. Or you might imagine that after marriage you'll simply avoid the parent as much as possible, and if you're forced together by holiday gatherings, you'll adopt an amiable or neutral demeanor, suffer through it, then return to a normal, happy life. These imagined optimistic futures ignore your real problem, which is not the parent. It's your potential spouse. If he or she must constantly talk to a parent and confide personal matters, or constantly see the parent in person, or constantly engage the parent in his or her life, or constantly give the parent money to get out of trouble, then something is wrong with your potential spouse. This is a recipe for an unhappy marriage.